What is the High Line in New York City? I'm going to show you in this video. This is Lisa with Swifty Travels, and this is part of my series on New York City. We finally made it as a family to New York City, one of the places on my bucket list. We started the series exploring Times Square and Central Park. In my last episode, we walked around St. Mark's Place in the East Village and Washington Square Park. And now, after lunch, we're wandering over to the west side of Manhattan to check out the High Line. We were on our way to the High Line and we found another little pop-up market here in the Meatpacking District, so we're going to take a look here. This particular market was selling fresh flowers. It was beautiful, but it was quite crowded, and so we continued on our way. And then what is this? Huge crowd here. From what I could see from my short standpoint, looks like there are some drag queens over here, possibly posing for pictures. I bet they were famous. What is the High Line? Well, the High Line is a public park that was built on a historic freight line elevated above the streets on Manhattan's west side. It was saved from demolition and opened as a hybrid public space in 2009. What's different about this park is the High Line is basically an elevated greenway walkway, and it has several displays of public art that traverses the west side of Manhattan for about 1.5 miles. The first challenge was figuring out how to get up on the High Line. We didn't realize that there were only certain points where you can enter. You should plan on starting at either end and walking the entire length. We're trying to get up on High Street. It looks like there's a QR code where you have to check in and actually get a reservation for a particular time, even though it's free. So just keep that in mind when you come here. We had to wait about 20 to 30 minutes after we checked in. All these people were waiting for their turn. Don't be fooled, there's not really a line. Just hang near the front, and when they open the gates, just walk on in and show your code. Now currently, the hours are 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekends. They are currently requesting mask wearing while you walk on the High Line. Beautiful elevated garden. It used to be an old train line up here that they've converted. This area is where you can see views of the Hudson River, and there's just one area that serves food and drink, and that's this here. This was really interesting. It was like a little seating area where you could sit and you could watch the traffic over the road below. Okay. And oh my goodness, what is this? If you watch my other episodes, you know I have a thing for running onto marriage proposals. They've got the candles, they've got the roses, and what is this? That looks like the box. Somebody is going to propose. Too bad we couldn't stay to watch this. Somebody is ready to make a proposal, and we're just gonna miss it. There's the camera crew. In the mid-1800s, street-level tracks delivered food to lower Manhattan in this area, but by 1910, 540 people had been killed by the trains in this area. 10th Avenue was renamed Death Avenue. In 1924, the Transit Commission ordered the removal of the street crossings. They were just too dangerous, and plans were made to elevate the trains. In 1933, the first train ran on the High Line and cut directly through buildings for easy access for food delivery, such as this old Nabisco building. This is really, really cool. And have you ever seen a parking garage like this? I have never have. In the 60s and 70s, the rail use started to decline as there was a rise in trucking, and by the 1980s, it was ready for demolition. After decades of neglect and indecision, it was rezoned as a public park, and a team of designers and architects transformed the High Line. The first section was opened to the public in 2009. This is absolutely beautiful. For the nature lovers who are visiting New York City, you can get away and go and walk for several miles without having to stop at all the lights. Here's how they play a little sports in New York City. You have these little sports fields tucked away in the neighborhoods. They were playing soccer, but it looks like they've all moved. Beautiful views at all the intersections of all the old buildings and the historic red brick buildings against the green plants that are planted up here. Just absolutely gorgeous. Everywhere you turn here, the architecture is so stunning. There is the coolest building behind us. I don't know what it is, but it's really cool. And I hear someone singing opera. If you start walking the High Line from the south like we did, start on the south end and walk north, you will end at the Vessel. What a lovely way to end your walk. I don't know what this really is. It's an art installation. I've seen it on the internet. I've seen it in Instagram. I guess it's just, I'm guessing it's an art installation. You can walk up, maybe get some good views and good pictures. Certainly, it's super cool. And it's right here at the edge of the High Line, around 34th Street, I believe, in the Hudson Yards area. The sun is shining. It's been gray so far here in New York, and let me tell you, the city's done an amazing job with their public facilities. We've gone to several public restrooms since we've been here, and they've all been very clean, very well kept. This is one right behind me, near the Hudson Yards.